Okay. So, some news before we get started with our lists. They announced that season 5 of The Boys will be the final season. Which, I forget. Have you watched that show?
I haven't, but I have heard of it.
Um,
But I haven't watched.
if you watch season 3, the end of season 3 is definitely. I'm not gonna spoil it, but it's definitely like I only see this happening for maybe a season or two, and
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
so them saying season 5 will be the last season. It's like, yeah, I kind of
Mm.
thought that was gonna be the case, but glad I was right. So yeah,
Well,
it's a really good show. It's definitely an adult show, but it is really good.
okay. I guess I'll just have to let it finish, and then I'll just binge watch the entire thing, so I don't have to wait for episodes to come out.
You can do that.
I could do that. I mean, a lot of people do that.
Or wait until season 4 is done and then just binge 1 through 4, and then
Very true.
5 will come out and then be all set.
Well, speaking of seasons, the second half of Bridgerton came out today, so I'm very excited to be binge watching that today.
Never watched that show.
You don't want to. There's just it's mainly women's book, like 50 Shades of Grey, but there's more plot in Bridgerton than there is in 50 Shades of Grey.
So it's 50 Shades of Grey, but with a plot.
Yeah, so there's still sex, just plot.
Oh, goody.
Yeah, it's great, no? It's good.
Well, actually,
Good.
I know I've been poking you with a stick about it, but Dungeons and Dragons, yeah, it has a big cast in it. It actually has somebody that is in Bridgerton.
Oh God.
I can't remember his name, but yeah, he's one of the. You see him in the trailer for D&D.
Oh, there you go. I don't want to butcher his name.
Yeah, but you know who I'm talking about.
John Page. Is that how you say his name?
I think so. But
he was in. I don't. Yeah.
But yeah, he's in that.
Which, to be fair, I didn't know about this actor until I watched Bridgerton. So it's surprising to see that he's in other things that I didn't know of.
Well, that's one of the things I like is a lot of people are saying like, oh, like I knew this person from this, and I'm like, actually I knew him from this. Oh, yeah.
Yep. I saw his penis. You saw his acting side. So that's great. Very much
great.
Great, different sides of him. Good to know. Good to know.
Nice range of an actor.
Yeah, it goes from 0 to 100 real quick.
There you go. Well, okay. I know we talked about it last time, but Nobody, the sequel, says it's reportedly going to start filming in August.
Which is amazing news for me, which means we probably won't get this movie until 26. Most likely.
I don't know, actually, because it might be like 25.
You think?
If they shoot in August, then I would say they would wrap filming maybe, depending, maybe September, maybe October. And if it is like mostly like practical stuff again, then I would say maybe maybe late spring, early summer of next year. So I don't know, but they reportedly it's going to start filming in August. So yay!
Great! I'm very excited for that, though.
Oh, did you hear about this? The director for Blade walked off. This is the second director that has walked off of Blade.
At this rate, they're just doing it to themselves. There's no way.
To be honest, I saw this post earlier that was somebody saying, which Blade thing do you think will come first, the movie or the game? And I'm like, at this point, it's the game.
The game, yeah.
Like at this point, it's the game. Like, this is getting ridiculous. I think even to the
I need
point
to know
that
what's going on.
I mean, I think it's just taking too long. I mean, what typically happens is like directors will be signed on, but script writers and writers take just their sweet ass time, and then to the point where directors will be like, you know what, this is taking way too long. I'm just sitting here. I could be making money right now. I could sign on to something else, so I'm just gonna walk off. So that typically happens. So right now, it has no director, but it still has a scriptwriter, and it's the same scriptwriter as Black Widow.
Okay.
So,
we'll see. Mean, the Black Widow movies aren't that bad. The recent one was, I don't know. I think it's just the self-awareness was a little weird for me.
Well, to me, it felt like okay, this is like the last time we're gonna see, Natasha Romanoff's character. And it's like once her sister and her dad, which was Florence Pugh and David Harbour, popped up on screen, it was like they took over. It was like they took over the entire movie. And I'm like, isn't it supposed to be about her? But
yeah, right? Okay. It wasn't supposed to be like a backstory or something like that, too? I don't understand it. Yeah, it's a little weird.
Yeah, I don't know either. But, yeah, that, I think we talked about it. It was supposed to come out like 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And now, I don't know.
I don't know. There's a lot of things going on, and I don't know about,
Oh, you'll definitely get a kick out of this.
Fun.
Director Henry Selick will direct a stop-motion adaptation of Neil Gaiman's The Ocean at the End of the Lane, and he describes it as almost a sequel and companion piece for Coraline.
Almost a sequel, but a companion piece. Mm-hmm. Okay, that doesn't... That's... Okay.
Well,
I wonder how that... Okay.
Well, Coraline was written by Neil Gaiman, who also wrote The Ocean at the End of the Lane, who also did Sandman, which I've heard that show is really good. I just haven't watched it.
Isn't that a horror movie?
I don't think so.
Is it thriller?
But
I don't know. I could have sworn it said thriller, but it could just be me. I could have read it wrong.
But yeah. So there we go.
Okay.
And did you hear about Sony acquiring the Alamo Drafthouse?
No.
Mm-hmm. Because the Alamo Drafthouse was going bankrupt. And Sony stepped in and said, hey, we'll take it.
Well, I mean, the last time I went to the Alamo, they took like 30 minutes to get us our order.
Well, and then they actually give it to you.
Well, when we sat down, usually you got to wait like at least 10 to 15, but it took us 30 minutes and the movie was about to start to get popcorn and everything,
It is also the Alamo Drafthouse too, so
to be fair,
quite a bit of people there.
It was fun. It was fun the first time we went. The attention was really nice, and then the second time we went, I think they forgot we were there or something. I don't know.
I've had that happen.
So, yeah, that's why we decided to just go somewhere else.
Oh well.
We'll get our own food. We'll sneak it in. That's fine. Yeah, that's fun. Wow, I guess we're saving.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and did you hear about this? Jordan Peele reportedly met with Marvel Studios to discuss their X-Men movie.
Okay.
But it didn't work out. Because I'm sure Peele was going, it should be like a certain way, and then Marvel's just like, no. That's also kind of what happened with Ant-Man too, is that Edgar Wright wrote it, and it was very different from what they actually did. And when he pitched it, Marvel was at that point where all their movies were being connected to a universe, and his movie wasn't. Mm-hmm. So they asked him, like, can you connect it? And he just went, no, it won't make sense if you do that. And they just went, okay, well, we'll take it and, completely, like, almost rewrite, like, 80% of it. But Edgar Wright did get one thing out of it. His initial pick for Ant-Man was Paul Rudd. and
Oh,
they got him.
Okay.
So yeah, that's one thing good that came out of that. Because I know how much your thoughts on it.
My thoughts are blank the minute I hear the Ant-Man. I'm like, okay, which one? The recent one? Don't even talk to me right now.
Yeah.
It's just, ugh.
Oh well, so that happened.
Mm.
So yeah, so that's recent. Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna talk about what we feel are the best and worst movies from the 2000s. Now, you said you have 10 movies on both lists?
I do have 10 movies on both lists. Yes.
I have 10, and I have 2 honorable mentions for both.
Okay.
So I would say just let's get down to it, and do you want to do best or worst first?
Let's start with last time we started off with worst, so let's start off with the best.
Okay.
This time around.
All right.
Okay.
Do you want to do like back and forth, or just read list and then just then
let's do back and forth. I feel like that's a lot more fun.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I'll do is I'll read off my 2 honorable mentions and then go to you. So
all right,
my 2 honorable mentions are Zathura and The Ring. Now, Zathura, that's a personal one for me because that was a movie I watched a lot when I was a kid, and I had like the DVD, and I also saw it like rerun on Cartoon Network all the time. And yeah, that one's a personal thing for me, so that's why I was like, you know what, it's an honorable mention because I don't feel like it's fair because it's like a personal one for me. Then for The Ring, it is a horror remake that actually is good, and they didn't mess it up, and is scary.
Okay, yeah.
And the only one out of the series that I think is good, because all the other ones suck. And
you voiced your opinions on those before.
Yeah, and just don't need to exist. But that's just me. Okay, so yeah, so that's why I have those 2.
Okay.
Right. Want to start with number 10?
Number 10.
Okay. Number 10, I have The Others. You seen that one?
I have not. It does not ring a bell.
That one is about Nicole Kidman plays a mother of 2 who live in a manor. I believe it was during World War II, I think. And she believes that there are ghosts in her house. Now, that seems very simple, but throughout the movie, little things start unraveling. Then when you get to the very end, there's a twist at the end. You're just like, oh, crap. That's messed up. And it's like, oh, that makes sense. Like, everything that happened, all the buildup and all the little things that were thrown at you, all makes sense to the twist. So it's like, oh, that's brilliant. It's not like a jump scare. It's not like a jump scare movie. It's a slow burn PG-13 paranormal film. So it's not a movie that is gonna like throw a whole bunch of crap in your face and jump scare you with a loud sound. No, this is a slow burn building up film, and it works. So I that's one where I tell people like, hey, you like these paranormal movies? Watch this one, because damn, this one is good. So I love it. I personally have it here. So that's my number 10.
Okay. Right. My number 10 is really stupid, but I feel like it's a staple to 2000s movies, and I chose to put Norbit. Eddie Murphy's really stupid movie.
All right, we're getting off to a start here. Just wait until you hear more stuff.
It was I was very hesitant of putting it number 10 too. 10 is pretty generous for me. It was going to be my number 1 on my worst list, but I thought the comedy of it would have been just slightly a little upcoming.
Uh-huh.
I'm guessing you've seen Norbit. I'm guessing.
Like I said, wait until my worst of.
Yeah.
Because I have some things to say.
Listen, the only reason it's on my list at number 10 is because of the comedy of it. Even though sometimes it's stupid. And even though half the movie is just Eddie Murphy dressing up as himself.
Okay.
But that's it. I think it's just a funny movie.
Okay.
That's it.
Well, when we get to the worst of, I'll go off on it.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't know what spot it is, so I'll keep that a secret.
No, I'm sure it's like top 5. 100%.
We'll see. Stay tuned.
We'll see. Stay tuned.
All right. So, number 9, I was really hesitant to put this one on, but I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Shrek. Because it's one of the few animated movies that I'll go back and rewatch, and it's funny every time. And it's also a movie where I'm like, wow, this was back when animation was a little more, can get a little more like adult, or like can get away with a lot more. It's not so much like today where it's a little bit trickier because they really can't do it. So, and then also, they help make Smash Mouth almost like a household name.
I mean, to be fair, yeah, I feel like our generation really did grow up with Smash Mouth just through that.
Yeah, just through Shrek. And also the fact that it's completely memeable. Which is fine.
So true. Which is fine, yeah. Plus, I think the entire series of Shrek, up until what is it, 4 movies or something like that?
It's 4.
They're all pretty good by yourself.
They're trying to do a 5th one.
Yeah. So I heard.
Mm-hmm.
But all of them do stand its ground, and they're all pretty good.
Yeah.
So I agree.
Yeah. I haven't seen the second one in a long time, but I do remember liking that one quite a bit. I know not a lot of people like the third one, but to me, it's kind of a guilty pleasure. There are parts of it that I feel like, yeah, okay, that's not very good. But then there are parts of it that I'm like, okay, that was actually kind of funny. And then 4, I don't really remember a whole lot.
That's the one where Shrek goes back on time because he was getting frustrated at his baby's birthday party.
Oh yeah.
And he does a deal with the little midget. Which is a rude word, but
you mean fun size?
He's fun size.
No, that was the one where he was dealing with Rumpelstiltskin.
That one's my guilty pleasure. I love rewatching that one over and over again.
See, the only thing I know about that one is that kid, the do the roar.
Oh, that's right.
That's it. That's it. And I'm like, okay, I've seen the movie. But, whatever. What's number 9 for you?
Number 9 is The Last Samurai. Tom Cruise's movie.
Okay.
Now, for me, that's cinematic masterpiece for me. Although I know the popularity on it is not that much. I think it got an 8 out of 10 for a rating or something like that. But for me, I really liked how balanced it was.
Well, I know a lot of people I know a lot of people. I mean, I do like that movie, but I do understand a lot of people don't really like that movie, and it's mainly because Tom Cruise is the lead. So you really think about it, you have this white guy as the lead, and everybody else in the movie is not white.
Which, I mean, they go into why he was the only.
They do. It's
American.
Yeah, they do. No. But it's also it reminds me of the stuff the live action Ghost in the Shell did, where they did was it Scarlett Johansson was the lead, and I just remember everybody got pissed off about it. And it's I could see why. But
I can too, but she also has a record of like doing really good when she's lead in some movies. Like when she did I forgot what the name of that movie was, where like she knows how to use like 100% of her brain or something like that.
Lucy.
Yeah,
yeah.
I thought she did really good in that movie too.
She was, to me, the only one of the few things that was actually good about that movie. Because everything else was just kind of like, wait, what the hell is this? But
But
okay,
I want to disagree. I think Tom Cruise did really well in this movie, even though he's literally just known for 2 movies, which I don't have to say what 2 movies they are.
You can already tell what they are.
Oh, 100%. But he did really well in this, and I feel like just because he's Tom Cruise doesn't mean you have to give shit to the movie. Like, he did fine. He did well in this movie, and I do appreciate them bringing in Ken Watanabe and I forgot his other name, but some other like pretty well-known Japanese actors that are in other movies.
Yeah.
So I think it was for me. It's my number 9.
Nice.
It's really good. I want to watch. Yeah. So
cool.
Number 8.
My number 8. It's a movie that I'm sure is on yours, but it's more higher. Spider-Man.
Yes, sir.
Yep. I was a bit crossed between putting either Spider-Man 1 or 2, but to be honest, I would put both in this one and then just, tie number 8. Because, it was not only was it the first, live action rendition of Spider-Man, but it also showed us like, oh, well, one, Sam Raimi can do action stuff and not just horror stuff, but they can actually take a comic book movie seriously. Like, that was the first one was definitely during that time when studios were kind of like a little bit stepping on eggshells, or actually no, studios weren't, audiences were. They were stepping on eggshells because to a certain point, like in the 90s, almost every superhero thing that came out in the 90s was just incredibly stupid or just goofy as hell. Like, like the Doctor Strange movie, they did a Captain America movie, they did the Fantastic Four movie, and I'm like, wow. And it really wasn't until I think it was Blade that it was like, wow, they actually took it seriously and it was good. And so then you got like X-Men and then this. It was like, wow, they're actually taking it seriously. We can actually do a good job and, not have to treat it silly. So,
right.
Yeah. So yeah, I would put both 1 and 2. And,
okay.
We've gone over why just the first 2, and we don't need to go down that rabbit hole again. So
no, we don't. Then we won't.
Your number 8.
Oh, okay. My number 8 is one that I recently just watched, and I feel like it needs to be on here. It's American Psycho.
You just watched that?
I just watched it, and
nice.
I'll say this much: it's gonna be a comfort movie for the rest of my life.
Oh, just wait.
I also feel like my taste in men is disgusting because I found him really attractive throughout this entire movie, even though he's really a psychopath.
Well, yeah, I'll say this: I have it on my list too. Yeah, I absolutely adore that movie, and it's the first time I saw it, I was a little bit like uneased about it because like all the satire and all that, but then I realized it is fucking hilarious.
It is really, really funny. I'm not even lying. I know it's supposed to be like a horror.
It's supposed to be a dark comedy.
Right, a dark comedy, drama, crime, horror, all that stuff. And it's rated R, so there's going to be quite a few things in here.
Oh, wait until you watch the unrated cut.
Oh no, okay.
There's a lot more. It's mainly a lot more like sex and nudity stuff.
Oh, fun.
So, yeah.
But yeah, Super great movie, super funny. Oh, unless you don't like blood and horror and all that stuff, then obviously it's not for you. But if you do like it and you don't mind it, then it's a really great movie to watch over and over again.
Cool. Nice. I'm glad you watched that. You watched that.
Thank you. All right. Number 7.
Number 7. For me, District 9.
Okay.
That movie, it's really dark. Do you know about that one? So that one is about aliens have landed on Earth, and we discover them and we talk to them, and they say, hey, we crash landed here, but we just want to build our stuff and get the hell out of here. That's just what we want. We don't mean to like pose a threat. We don't want to be your enemy. We just want to get out of here. And so humans were just like, okay, we'll help you out. But then 20 years later, in the current time, which is I think it was 2009, I think, when the movie came out, they said, okay, you know what? We're tired of this. So they decide we are going to move these aliens into pretty much concentration camps. And yeah.
I need to watch this show. What the hell?
It's really good, but it's pretty dark, and it does not pull anything back for like throwing shit at a lot of topics. I mean, not literally, but like that. So it's yeah. So then it becomes the main guy. He is the person that is like going to them and saying like, hey, like he's pretty much like the God, what are they called? Messengers. Where it's like, hey, we're moving you, like, this is what's happening right now, so like we're moving you right now. To then he then becomes like infected with an alien disease. To then the people he was working with end up saying like, you know what, we gotta kill you. So then he then starts working with the aliens to try and fend everything off and try to get the aliens out of here.
Bro.
So it's like, in typical alien films, it's either we embrace the humans or aliens embrace humans, or aliens attack humans, like Mars Attacks. But with this, it goes, well, what if aliens dropped into a hostile situation and like we are the hostile, like, beings? So.
Which is like, I guess that's really interesting because I've never heard of a movie like that where we would be able to fend ourselves off, because it's always been like, oh, well, if aliens drop down, it's obviously easy to assume that they might come with something better than us, like military, all that stuff, like weapons. Like I guess we just always thought that they would always be more powerful, but I guess we never really thought, what if they aren't? Or, you don't want to fight right off the bat.
It is a great science fiction film and a really dark one too. And after I watched it, I was like, oh damn, this is just messed up, but this is really good. So that's my number 7.
Okay.
So, your number 7?
My number 7, I guess, kind of does go into like that dark stuff, not necessarily like so dark, but it is one of Will Smith's more popular movies that he did in the 2000s, and it's called 7 Pounds.
Oh, is that the movie where he basically cries a lot?
Yeah, he cries a lot, and then like when he dies, he like gives away all his body parts. That's my favorite part, But like he kills himself, It's not like he like he died, but he kills himself in the bathtub,
Yeah, from what I heard, it was Will Smith plays a guy who is on the verge of committing suicide, but he decides to help 7 people.
Yeah, basically.
Is that it? Okay.
It's basically that. Yeah. He like finds. I think it's because I think his wife or girlfriend died in a car crash, and
so a lot of tragedy happened in his life.
Yeah, a lot of tragedy in his life happened, and then he finds out who else was in that crash, and he finds out these 7 people are alive that need these certain body parts. So then he like spends his entire life trying to get close to these people, and then dies for them, and then hands all his body parts to them.
So like he like spares his life to save 7 others.
Yeah, except they didn't know until I guess he died, and I guess left letters. Because I remember very vividly he was bullying a blind guy throughout the entire movie, and then he gives him his eyes. And then it's crazy. I don't know. I know, right? It's weird.
Where did you get the eyes from? That your bully.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
He died.
His eyes.
His eyes. Yeah. It was actually really fucked up.
That just reminded me. That just reminded me of there's this movie, I think it was also in the 2000s, called The Eye.
The Eye.
it's about I think it was Jessica Alba. She plays a blind woman who gets an eye transplant, and she starts seeing ghosts, and then she does research, and apparently the person who gave her the eyes was like also saw ghosts. So it's an interesting movie. It's not a great movie, but it's like okay, I kind of see what you're going for, but that just reminded me of that.
I guess so. I mean, I don't know how that what could that happen? I guess it's more like fictional than it is reality, because I don't think it would actually happen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but that is quite fun. But yeah, I do put it on my what are we on? 7?
7.
7. Yeah, I would put it up there on 7, just because even though he does cry a lot, I mean, it really is, I guess, a touching movie for me. So.
I heard somebody say like so 7 pounds or Will Smith and I cry like a bitch a lot.
I mean, pretty much. It was this or The Pursuit of Happiness. It really is quite next to each other, because he did them not too long after each other.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's my number 7.
Nice. Number 6, I have Gladiator.
I indeed do too have Gladiator at 6.
At number 6?
I also have it at number 6, yeah.
Wow. Look at that.
Great.
So
look at that. We correlated.
Well, you know, I saw this movie before, you know, high school, because the I think it was history class. They showed this movie, but I had already seen it. So I'm basically just kind of like looking around the class, just like watching everyone's reactions to it. But I still think the best and the worst time that it was the same history class and we watched a movie was we watched Schindler's List. And I had already seen it, so I'm just like, oh boy, this is not going to be good. And in the class, stuff happened, and just I heard everyone just go, "Oh my god!" And I'm just like, yeah, it gets worse. So yeah, that was something, but you know, I'm still kind of on the fence on them doing a sequel to this. They said it's going to be off of was it the kid? I forget his name, but you know, it's like okay, like I don't think we need it, but you know, prove me wrong. But you know, Gladiator is just from performances to Ridley Scott direction to even the score, which was Hans Zimmer. With Lisa Gerard, which if you've heard, have you heard the group Dead Can Dance?
Yeah.
That's her.
Oh, okay.
But have you also seen The Mist?
I've seen The Mist. That is one movie that
the end the end scene, the music that's playing, that is Dead Can Dance.
Wow, I didn't know that. Okay.
So, yeah, but yeah, it's just, you know, the thing about the score is that it's really incredible music, but then her voice on top of it just sells it. And that's why, you know, Dead Can Dance, I think, is highly underrated. Because, yeah, in The Mist, it was, you know, it's not just the punch that the movie ends you with. You're just watching the movie, and then all of a sudden, it's not a punch to the face. It's a gut punch, and you're like, you're down. And then, but it's also the fact they put the music on top of it as well. It just worked so well.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh my God. But Gladiator, it's, I love it. The first time I saw it. So, yeah, I have it at number 6. So,
okay.
Yeah. Why do you have Gladiator for number 6?
What do I have for Gladiator?
No, I mean, why do you have Gladiator for number 6?
Oh, it's just primarily because I've never seen a Gladiator movie, and out of all the Gladiator movies that I have seen, that one was the best. Mm-hmm. Does that make any sense, right? Everybody can appreciate like an action pack, and then not only that, it's a revenge story too.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's Russell Crowe who plays Maximus. Yeah, right? Yeah. Quite the hunk in the movie. And that might be a portion of why it's on here.
Jeez.
But I really did like
American Psycho was not higher.
Listen. There's a difference between tall, lanky men who kill people and then really buff men who are doing it because he got stripped of his title because the new emperor did it. Okay, like there's a whole difference between them. But in reality, I really did like what the director did with this movie. How they seen ancient Rome,
mm-hmm.
unlike other movies that really do like to glorify ancient Rome.
Yeah.
Like they really did show what ancient Rome probably was like, all grim and gloomy and shit. So
yeah.
So, but it I did like it. I know it did not win Best Picture, but I think it was nominated for it. It did? Oh my God.
I know it won a couple Oscars, but I don't know if
it did win Best Picture though.
Let me see. Yeah, I know it won like a couple, like I think like Best Director, something like that. No, Best Picture went to American Beauty.
Oh, see, I knew it. I know it didn't win Best Picture, or else it would have said. But I know it didn't. But I kind of did want it to win because it was really good, and I did like Joaquin Phoenix.
Oh yeah,
who played Commodus, I think, in this movie.
Yeah, I think that was who it was.
I think it was Joaquin Phoenix. No.
Oh wait, hold on.
Okay.
I was looking at 2020. I was looking at 2000. I was not looking at 2001 where it was actually nominated. Gladiator did not win Best Picture.
Okay.
It was nominated. Oh wait. Oh, for fuck's sake! It did.
It did?
Yeah, it did. Wow, I can't read for shit.
That's fine.
It won 5. It was nominated for 12 and won 5. Best Picture, Best Actor, Best Costume, Sound, and Visual Effects.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Like I said, I really do think the director did a really good job, which I think is Ridley Scott. Ridley Scott, yeah. And I think he did it. No wonder it won Best Picture, because it really was a really great movie, apart from staring at Russell Crowe the entire time.
Also in the 2000s, like early 2000s, that's when like Ridley Scott was like pumping out like hit after hit, like Gladiator, American Gangster, Black Hawk Down. So he was like doing like really good movies then. It really wasn't a hit until he hit the 2010. It was like you're kind of dwindling, dude.
Which I'm not surprised. I feel like sometimes they get onto that high, and they tend to take that high, and
then
it
also
just dwindles out.
The best directors, they're not all their films are not going to be great.
No.
Like,
we both know.
Like with Ridley Scott, as much as I love Gladiator, Alien, Blade Runner, I fucking hate Robin Hood.
Oh my God, don't even get me started. That movie is cursed. I'd rather it not have existed ever.
It was just boring. But anyway, this is still the best of. But So Gladiators is our number 6.
It is our number 6.
Number 5 for me is The Incredibles.
Okay.
Because that movie, again, like, that was one of the few animated movies that I saw when I was a kid. And I was like, oh, damn, I can watch this over and over again. And was, I think, the first Pixar movie that was PG. So they actually got, like, more, like, they upgraded a bit. So it's like, oh, shit. Mm-hmm. It's like when okay. I think, like, the first 3 seasons of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. were TV PG. And by the time they got to season 4, they ended up bumping it up to 14. It was like, oh, shit, we're going to get more. We're going to get more, like, gnarly in this. And they do, but... Yeah, but and then I heard that Brad Bird was trying to get that movie made for quite a while. But it was because, you know, Disney and Pixar was just going like, we don't know if we want to do that because it was more like mature than the films they were having at that point.
Yeah, because you know, we have to realize Pixar was doing kiddie movies like Up. Well, Up, yeah,
not Up. They did like Toy Story, Bugs Life.
Oh,
and then they just did Finding Nemo at that point. But this was kind of a big stepping stone for them.
So, you know, I guess it makes sense, no? Because, you know, you don't want to stray away from what you've been... your audience, I guess. Because, you know, you make movies for the same audience, they'll keep coming back. You try to stray away from that, you know, it's a risk and you don't know how it'll go. Yeah. You know, after movie that's been hitting, you know, it makes sense.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah. So I love The Incredibles, and
I love them too.
Personally, I still like the first one over the second one. That's just me, but yeah.
The second one was that the one with like the redhead villain one?
No, the second one was the one where it flashed, like almost like epilepsy things.
Oh, right. I don't really remember the second. I remember the first one, but I don't remember the second one that well.
The first one was Syndrome. That was that one.
Okay.
Yeah. Second one, I forget what the villain was, but yeah, it was like one where it was able to use like mind control. And its method was kind of like, okay, I understand it, but you know, like, okay, that's kind of easy to, you know, deactivate, I guess. But okay, that's fine. Yeah, so Incredibles to me is number 5.
Okay.
What about you?
Number 5, I did put an animated movie too, and I feel like we've talked about this one quite a bit, and it's WALL-E. You know,
that's right. It was 2009, so like right at the end.
Yeah, towards the end of, you know, before I think it's 2008. It's 2008.
But it was towards the end when like
towards the end, yeah, like almost 9. But it's considered a 2008 movie because it's not necessarily there yet.
Yeah.
So, and you know, Andrew Stanton, you know, did amazing with this. The writers too, you know, Jim, Pete, and Andrew. I just this movie just is really just you know, if we don't figure shit out, this might be happening soon. I don't know.
To me, might be that movie is almost like if Charlie Chaplin was a robot.
Stop, because you know what, you're right.
It felt like that because yeah, really think about it, like there really is no dialogue, so it's all about like the physical physicality and emotions characters going through, and they can't use that with dialogue. So
you know, there isn't a lot of movies that are animated that did well portraying so much emotion, because you know, even though they were items, they still had dialogue. Like, you know, like Big Hero 5, you know, like I forgot his name.
Baymax.
Baymax, thank you. He was an inanimate object, but he had a voice, you know.
Yeah.
In some way, he knew how to, you know, vocalize in how a robot could.
Mm-hmm.
But WALL-E didn't have that, and even if he did, it was never like a lot. It was only whenever Eva came and he would express Eva's name in different forms of emotions, but not necessarily explain how he felt. Yeah. So it was really well written. Because, you know, once they introduce humans, they start talking and technology, you know, all of that. But, you know, the first half of this movie really is just bonding with Wally and Eva.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a really good movie.
Yeah. Robots learning to love.
Learning how to love. Yeah.
There you go.
So love that.
Nice.
Okay,
I like how
5.
we have a Pixar movie for both our number 5s.
Well, I mean, I wasn't gonna put a Disney movie in here.
Well, I had to do the same.
No.
Because, like, you know, I cannot put just... I had to put one Disney movie in it. Otherwise, you know, pitchforks at the ready.
Fair enough.
So, my number 4 is, we discussed this one, American Psycho. Because I find it hilarious. It is a movie where, you know, I can watch it numerous times and I could find something new about it, or I can look at a scene and go like, oh, maybe it's this way, because there's multiple ways that it could potentially go. That's like, okay. And, you know, I can't stress enough on how funny that movie is.
I mean, it is quite an interesting movie. Nothing beats the first time watching it, and after that, you already know what you're going to get into. But watching it for the first time really is just Pikachu shocked face half the movie.
But the more times you watch it, the more stuff can open up about it. And
it's
100%. Like, this can make sense. This makes sense. But yeah, I adore that movie. I love it. But I mainly love just how fucking hilarious it is. Like, he decides that he's gonna kill someone just because they have a better business card than him.
You know, that's funny, you know, because I mean, that's the whole point of being a psychopath, is that, you know, you'll find a threat in anything and anyone. So, which is,
I love that.
It was great. I love that one. Okay.
Your number 4.
My number 4 is going to be The Dark Knight. Christopher Nolan's.
Yep.
Yep. Speaking of Christian Bale, you know, it's just a really good freaking movie. I don't know what it was. It's just, I think it was, for me, the Joker. Who played the Joker was
Heath Ledger.
Heath Ledger. I think he did such a good job playing the Joker that I think it really did complete this movie. Because apart from, like, you know, the Joker, the plot was pretty nice. You know, it's a standard Batman movie. You know, it's, you know, nothing really new. But in reality, a lot of it really was down to, like, the actors. And I think that Heath Ledger did a great job playing the Joker. Obviously, Christian Bale did really nice playing Batman. And, you know, the one person I forgot was in this movie was Cillian Murphy.
Yeah.
It's such a small role, but,
well, he's in Begins.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's Scarecrow.
But Dark Knight overall is such a good movie.
Yeah.
Although I don't really know where it falls in the timeline to watch Batman. I just know that it's a really good movie.
If you want to watch, you know, if you want to get more like, you know, like darker or maybe like grittier, more realistic versions of Batman, I would say the Dark Knight trilogy is definitely a good place to start.
Okay.
Yeah, because there's different versions of Batman you can start with. But, yeah. Cool.
Yeah. All right. You're number 3.
Number 3 is Casino Royale.
Oh my God. Okay, cool.
Because that is not only Daniel Craig's first Bond film, but it also, you know, back in, I think it was like 2005, 2006, when it was announced that he was going to be Bond, the internet blew up and went, you can't have a blonde hair, blue-eyed Bond, because all the Bonds at that point, they were all black-haired and brown-eyed.
Right.
And, you know, personally, you know, feel offended by that.
Okay, listen.
Yeah, we can't have a blonde-haired, blue-eyed Bond. Thanks. Yeah, I needed that vote of confidence today. But then once the movie came out, people then shut up because it was actually really good.
So, you know how they are.
Yeah. So, yeah, and then it was also like the thing is that it was the best Bond film since GoldenEye, which at that point I believe was about a decade old.
Oh shoot! Really?
Yeah, with the other three Brosnan ones, which was Tomorrow Never Dies, which is all right. Yeah, that's an okay one. Then when you get to The World Is Not Enough, it's like, oh my god, oh shit. And then you get to Die Another Day, which is just ridiculous. It's like, yeah, you guys don't even know what the hell you're doing anymore. So then, I think it was like 4 years after that, we got this, and it was like, okay, this is really good. So, yeah, I love it. Now, if this was a list of like the best Bond films to me, Skyfall would be higher. But, but you know, I adore Casino Royale. I watched that numerous times, and then I saw Skyfall, and I was like, oh my god, this is getting better. So, yeah, that's my number 3.
Okay, very nice. I feel like my number 3 is very personal to me. I wasn't gonna do like a honorable mention because I felt like by itself I don't think it needed to be an honorable mention, but I am putting the first Fast and Furious movie as my number 3.
You know, I'm not gonna argue against that because you know, I did remember liking the first one, and then it was just after that is just when I was starting to go like, okay, I'm losing interest with this. And
yeah,
then from what I've heard is that the first one is pretty much one of the only good ones. So
yeah, out of the majority of them, I feel like once you get to 5, that's where all that, you know, family stuff comes into place, and that's when you're just like, are you serious right now?
Yeah, just one more family.
Yeah, up until the 6th one, it's a decent serious, and then after that, it's just kind of like, okay, well, you know, the 7th one hits hard because that's.
You want to know something funny? Is recently I watched Kingdom of Planet of the Apes.
Oh boy,
which was good, not as good as War, but I came out of that with my mother and stepfather, and I was actually telling him like, have you guys been keeping up with Fast and Furious lately? And they just went, oh fuck no. And so I actually was telling him stuff about like the newest movies, and they were cracking up, like, because they thought I was joking. Like I told them like, yeah, in 10 they go to space, and they were both laughing, and I'm like, no, I'm dead serious. They do. And
you know that hits me. You know how unrealistic it kept getting as you keep watching the movies. You know.
Yeah. And I told them a couple more, and they were just laughing. Like, they thought I was joking. I'm like, no, I'm not lying. Like, I'm not making this up. And then I told them, I'm like, we were actually just naming off just, like, what if we just wrote, like, the next, like, 18 Fast and Furious movies? Yeah. The next one is on scooters. The next one.
Oh, my God.
The next one, they're driving Zambonis.
You know what? That'd be a killer movie right there. You know,
make millions of dollars writing shitty sequels to Fast and Furious. Let's do it. I'm down.
I'd be so down.
This is the easiest paycheck ever.
I know. I did hear that they're gonna try to bring back Paul Walker's character.
No, they should not do that.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. They're gonna try to AI him into the movie.
No,
is what they're gonna try to do. Yeah, and for me, it was like, okay, first of all, I need to know whether or not his wife and daughter agreed to putting him back in.
I would say no.
I would say no. If I was his wife or daughter, I'd be very adamant about saying no. Paul Walker's character has been gone for the past 4 movies since 7. 7?
Yeah, 7 was the last one because he died during 7.
Yeah, since that. So 3 movies. It's been 3 movies, probably including this next one that they're thinking
11.
about.
No, they're not thinking about it. They're doing it.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, they're filming it.
He has never been involved because his character has been the stay-at-home dad with his son, and his wife has been introduced, which is, you know, everybody knows Dominic Toretto's sister, that's who he ends up marrying in the series, is taking over Brian's place in the movies, which I 100% believed was the right decision versus bringing back a character that's never going to be the same. And all of us who know
and physically there,
he's not there. He's not there. And it was okay for when they try to do the like the scene where Dom and Brian race each other for the last time, and it's not Brian, it's
his brother.
His brother, and they just CGI Paul Walker's face onto him. That was okay for us because we knew that we needed it.
Well, and they also did that because, that originally that wasn't in the script. They did that after knowing the fact that Paul Walker just died, and they still had like a little bit left to shoot, so they used his brother as a double and then just CG enhanced it. So then they decided, you know what, let's give him a nice, like send off, like goodbye. And I've seen it, and it's like, oh, that's actually a great way
to send off a character, which is because the whole point was Brian not getting involved anymore because of his kid.
Yeah,
and that was that's how we ended Brian's storyline, and that's why his wife Mia ends up getting more involved in the movies because Brian. Well, it wasn't because Brian didn't want to. I'm sure they briefly mentioned how much Brian wanted to come, but it was against everyone's wishes for Brian to come in the movies. Even though realistically, it's because they don't have a way to bring Paul Walker into the movie without it being shameful.
Yeah.
So for me to even hear that they're even thinking about bringing him back AI version, I'm like, you guys gotta be stupid to be even thinking.
Yeah.
Should have been discarded the minute the thought came up, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But
hopefully they don't do it. So yeah, that was Fast and Furious was number 3.
Yep, Fast and Furious was number 3.
To me, number 2, Hot Fuzz. Because that movie, I adore it. It is fucking hilarious to me. And yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
Come on.
I mean, it is a fun movie. We watched it together, right? Or no? Yeah, we did. We did watch it together. It was a very fun movie. I loved it. It's a stupid movie. It reminds me of like the Pink Panther movies. Not necessarily because they're on par with each other, but because you both have stupid investigators that somehow do something great. Because they're stupid, Have you seen Pink Panther?
It's more of it's trying to be a parody of those cop buddy action movies.
It's true, but I meant in a different way. But yes, you're right.
Yeah, so I love Hot Fuzz. And your number 2? Yeah.
My number 2. Speaking of robots in outer space, Transformers, the very first one that came out.
Okay, so the only good one.
The only good one, yes, very much just the first. The only reason why it's the only Transformer movie that's on this list. So that's the only good one that it came out with. But just because it's the only good one doesn't mean that it's not a good movie. It is very much a good movie. Michael Bay tried.
Well, he limited himself, and then when it got to the sequels, he just went, fuck it. I'm just going to do whatever I want.
I'd like to say that Bumblebee was a lot better.
Luckily, we got the Bumblebee movie, and that was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Well,
But I Like Robots is a good movie. Number 2.
Okay.
Yep.
Number 1. Number 1 is one you've brought up, Dark Knight.
Okay.
And
that's where that is.
Because it is at the time, it was the first Batman movie that was an actual, like, detective movie. Because at that point, it was kind of like, okay, Batman's just, has to stop this villain, just da-da-da-da. There was no, like, real, like, detective work going on, even though he is, a detective. So,
right.
It really wasn't until this movie when they actually did that, and also were saying like, hey, Batman is dark. Like, not like he's not like the '60s Adam West where he has the fucking shark repellent and is dancing like no tomorrow. You know, it's actual like dark. So, you know, and it wasn't until, you know, Burton's version when, you know, that happened, and then Schumacher took that over and just completely fucked it in the face. But, you know, then we got Christopher Nolan doing it, which at the time, you know, he didn't do like Inception, he didn't do Tenet, he didn't do Dunkirk or even Oppenheimer. He was doing you know, like Memento and even like Prestige came out like while he was doing it. So he really wasn't like a big name like he is now. So yeah, you know, all the points that you made about Dark Knight, I absolutely agree. And you know, to me, I love it. I think it's great.
Yeah. Really great movie. One of my top movies. All right.
Worst stuff. So yeah, I have 2 honorable mentions, but I want to see if you do.
Okay, honorable mentions before we get to the
main 10.
What? To the main one?
Yeah, I have 2. One of them is controversial.
Oh boy.
It's just a personal thing. The other one, I had to admit that I did like this movie when I was growing up, and now when I watch it, it's like, yeah, there's issues with it. So that one, it's Scooby-Doo. Because I watched it a lot when I was a kid, and I did like it. And it wasn't until I grew up when I was like, you know, this really doesn't hold up.
No, I guess as a you're like that's amazing, and then as a adult you're just like, wow, that one looks really nice.
It's mainly some of the story aspects, and then a lot of the CGI is like, oh yeah, that looks like shit. But
you're so right.
But you know, when I did, you know, we talked about it, but when I did hear about what the movie actually was supposed to be, it's like I still would have wanted to see that.
Yeah, I honestly,
and
it didn't really defeat the purpose of the main purpose was, you know, a 50 Shades of Grey movie, but Scooby-Doo.
Not necessarily, but
not necessarily that hard, but you know,
it was supposed to be like a raunchy parody. So it was, you know, them being the characters, but it actually, you know, being, you know, parody wise. So it was like, okay, Shaggy's a stoner. Yeah, because if you watch the original Where Are You show, he looks and acts like one.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he actually was one.
Mm-hmm. That's why they threw all those elements in there. Yeah. And then the whole thing with originally Daphne and Velma were supposed to have a secret relationship, which kind of got cut out a bit.
Right.
Fred was supposed to be more like a douchebag. And it's just like, oh, you know, he was a douchebag from the start. I mean, not just this movie, but like just in the start of the whole Scooby-Doo thing. But, you know, I do see why people like still like this movie, and there are still parts in it where I'm like, okay, I did like that, but you know, it's mostly like this doesn't really hold up all that well, but I do see where people still like this, which is why I put it as an honorable mention. Now,
okay. If I had to do it before you start, because I want to see if we have the same controversial movie.
We probably don't.
It would have to be. It probably is not. But this movie does get a lot. It got a lot of shit towards COVID for very good reasons, and it's Tropic Thunder.
Nope, I do not have that one at all.
Oh God! So
I saw that movie once, and I don't remember it.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, there's supposed to be a bunch of comedians in this, but it didn't really stick.
Well, because it's supposed to be like a parody.
Yeah, it's a satire movie. Yeah.
But that's not the film I have.
Oh God, let's see what you got.
Mean Girls.
Oh my God. You know what?
I lived through that movie, which is why I don't like it. I hate it when movies give like give characters who feel like they're better than everyone else and don't try to learn from that and try to grow from that. They just stick to that way, which I understand is some characters. But if you're going to constantly throw them at my face, I will say screw off. And unfortunately with Mean Girls, that happened. Not just only because, I hated almost everybody in that movie, but that was also high school. And because we went to high school together. So we saw that. Just saw all these girls that thought they were better than everyone else. They were just like, oh, I don't have to listen to you. And it's like, shut up, please. So I understand where people like Mean Girls, and I do understand, but to me, I find it annoying and pretentious. So
okay,
that's why I have it as an honorable mention, just because I've seen worse, and I do see how like people like this one, which is why like I put it as honorable.
So fair enough. All right,
that's my controversial one.
Okay, my only honorable mention that I put will be Legally Blonde, because I don't see it sticking on this list as a movie that has a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not going to deny the fact that Reese Witherspoon made this movie what it is. Okay, any other actress I cannot see playing, Elle Woods in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
But Legally Blonde is such a comfort movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. It's a comfort movie for everyone. It's literally a rich dumb blonde that turns into a smart.
It's a guilty pleasure movie.
That I didn't want to put on here because it's kind of like good movie, but I wouldn't put it on this list.
Yeah,
because it's a great movie. Don't get me wrong. It's just there'd be too much bias for this movie, in my opinion, on my list.
Yeah,
but it is a great honorable mention.
I remember seeing that movie once, and I was just like, okay, like whatever. But yeah,
it's a good movie. It has two movies after it. There's Legally Blonde. Yeah,
actually, she goes I don't think they're trying. I think they are.
Yeah,
but it's like okay, like I don't really care. But all right.
Yeah, that's it. That's all I got. So
number 10. Would you like to go first on this one?
Let's go.
All right. Go ahead. What's your number 10?
Ocean's 11.
Interesting.
Ocean's 11.
I would have said I would have passed if it was 13, because 13 is not very good. But and to some extent maybe 12, because 12 was like okay, it's, okay. 11 I kind of liked, but I can see where some people don't.
Yeah. I can see it too, but it is a very good movie apart from its counterparts 12 and 13, which 12 was, I don't even want to talk about it, and 13 was like getting there, but 11 was actually quite entertaining, and
so again, I don't know. So you would put 12 in your worst stuff? Oh
yeah, I would put 12 in my worst stuff, 100%. Okay. I think it is on there. I actually don't know. I don't have it pulled up.
Well, I love how it said like, "Hey, what's your number 10 worst movie?" And then you put Ocean's 11. You said you liked it, so it's like, I think this is the wrong list.
So I mean, yeah. I
can see if you put like 13 in there, because 13 was like okay, like I don't even think you know what you're doing anymore, and to some extent 12.
To some extent, but 11 is fine. It's fine. I would have put Shrek instead, to be honest, but I thought I'd give Ocean's 11 just a chance, in my opinion.
In your worst of? Again, this is the worst of.
No. Oh, yes, actually, yes.
Okay.
I'm very confused with myself right now, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, because you're giving me like, you're saying like Ocean's 11's good, and then you're saying Shrek, and then you liked all of them, but yet we're talking about the worst stuff.
Yeah, I don't know where I'm going with this, but anyways,
Ocean's 11. Okay. Well, for my number 10, I have Doom. And that is because, despite it having Dwayne Johnson and Karl Urban in the same room, is cool. But Doom is, you know, it was back when like video game movies were just, you know, getting thrown out to people that didn't know what to fucking do with it, which will come across another movie later on that does that same thing. But Doom, I know my dad showed it to me and he likes it, and I'm like, okay, as a guilty pleasure. He's like, no, I actually like it. I'm like, see, I'm the other way around. I was just like like, you know, there's some potential to this. I mean, both Dwayne Johnson and Karl Urban are cool in it, but it's like this is kind of like Aliens and Predator were in the same movie. Which,
okay, fair.
Wait till we get to my next one. But yeah, that's my number 10.
Oh boy.
Okay, number 9, worst. Worst.
Got it. My bad. Elektra.
Yeah, I agree with that. It was a movie that was completely unnecessary to a sequel or to a first one that wasn't even good.
You know, I don't even understand where they were going with this, because, you know, they did fine with, you know, X-Men and Spider-Man, because that all came out around the same time, you know?
Yeah.
I guess maybe they got greedy and were like, let's do this. I'm like, no, don't. Why?
Then we got Daredevil and it all grind to a halt.
Yeah.
Well, something I actually read about is Elektra. I think a lot of people were saying, like, yeah, this is going to suck. So they pretty much just put the bare minimum into it anyway. And I was like, well, if you're going to do that, you know, at least, like, try to fix it. Or if you guys are just locked into it, you know, okay, but man, it sucks. So, yeah, I would agree. Elektra is pretty bad. Yeah.
Good to know. Yeah, it's such an unnecessary movie.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. All right, what's your number 9?
Aliens versus Predator.
I knew that was going to be on your list.
Man, okay. So I'm not big into Paul W.S. Anderson anyway. The only movie that I like of his that I actually like is his Mortal Kombat movie. Because it's ridiculous. They know it and they're having fun with it. And it's actually a good movie anyway. Event Horizon, I think there are some bits in it where I'm like, okay, if you maybe fix this part or maybe redid this part, I would like this movie a lot more. But other than that, I don't like his Resident Evil movies. I just don't. And then he did Aliens versus Predator, and I'm like, okay, it's not that the camaraderie between the two, it's not that I don't want to see a mashup. It's just, you're giving me a fucking PG-13 Alien movie, a PG-13 Predator movie? How dare you? How dare you, sir? You know, and you know, it's not like the first time the like either series was doing like CGI. Like I think Alien 4 used quite a bit of CGI, but that was just a terrible movie nonetheless. But, you know, this was just lame. But I haven't seen the second one, but I've heard the second one's worse. But I haven't seen that, so yeah, I did not like Aliens versus Predator. So to me, that's number 10.
All right, I'll agree with you. I mean, it's just I don't know. I didn't like it either. It was just weird, in my opinion. Out of all the Alien movies that you could watch in like the early 2000s, that one has to be one of like the weirdest ones you can start into, I guess.
That's why I'm hoping, like, because Prey came out a couple years ago, and that basically put Predator back on the rise because that was really good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really hoping they don't fuck up Alien Romulus. I'm really hoping they don't mess that up.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Please don't be bad. But anyway, that's my number 9. What is yours?
Well, didn't I already give my number 9? Aren't we on 8?
Oh, that's right. Whoops. Yeah. Yeah. You put Yeah, I'm sorry. You put Elektra. Sorry.
Thank you.
Number 8. Sorry.
Number 8. Speaking of aliens and robots and shit, Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen. Has to be one of the most unwatchable shits that I've ever seen Bay ever fucking do.
Have you seen The Last Night?
I have seen The Last Night.
Jesus Christ. I mean, that would be in the worst of, but we're not doing that decade.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And the funny part is, this is just one of the worst movies. It actually gets worse from Revenge of the Fallen,
It does, because then Dark of the Moon just made no sense.
Mm-hmm.
Age of Extinction was just like, what the hell are you doing? Last Night was just like, you know what, fuck it. Give me any stupid shit and I'll do it.
The only saving grace by like a slight sliver was the new one that came out. The Beast one, whatever.
Rise of the Beasts?
Yeah, that one has to be the most mellow movie I've seen. It was not bad. It was not the best one out of the movies, but it was not atrocious like the one in between.
To me, Transformers 1, did you see the trailer for that?
I did.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell they're doing with that.
I have no idea either. I really don't know.
We're just going to slide past that, but yeah, I would agree. Revenge of the Fallen is a piece of crap.
Mm-hmm.
Well, cool.
So, okay.
All right. This one had one of us had to bring this one up. The Wicker Man.
Okay.
Man, I was really hesitant on putting this one in my worst of, because there's parts of the movie that made me laugh, and it wasn't supposed to be funny. It just was what it was.
It was what it was.
Like, seriously, my favorite part, hands down, is when Nicolas Cage dresses up in a bear costume and just runs up and just punches a woman in the face. And it's not supposed to be funny, but it just was what it was. And you're like, what the hell did I just watch? Like, that's in the movie. And you're just like, what? That just came out of nowhere. Like, it was like completely unnecessary, but it was funny. And it was funny. And don't tell me about Not the Bees. Come on. Yeah, that movie, it's terrible, but there's a certain level of stuff in it that I just find hilarious, and it's not supposed to be funny because it's so bad. But you know what? I love it. So, but I had to put it on here. So, that's my number 8.
Number 8. Okay.
Number 7.
Number 7. Well, in the spirits of getting Deadpool and Wolverine together,
oh no,
we're gonna put X-Men Origins Wolverine's movie that came out in 2009.
Oh, sorry, I think I just threw up in my mouth.
It should be higher on this list, but there are worse movies out there than this Wolverine. I think even Hugh Jackman hated this movie.
I think everybody involved hates this movie.
Yeah, Gavin Hood should have rethought this movie before shooting and filming it.
Well, and what's crazy is that Gavin Hood did an Oscar movie right before this.
Which is crazy, right? Like, what happened?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's okay. You have to understand about this movie. It's trying to be 3 things all at once. It's trying to be an X-Men movie. It's trying to be a Wolverine movie, and it's trying to be an origin story all at once, which doesn't work. That's not how this works, okay?
Yeah.
It was doomed. It's all jumbled, there's like half a dozen X-Men's and Wolverine stories in here. Like, you just can't really keep up with all the stories, and it's kind of like, okay, what is it? Is it a Wolverine movie or is it an X-Men movie? Like, which one is it? Like, is he a side character or is he the main character? Because you can't just put Wolverine's name on it and not have it be about Wolverine.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, and then, to me, the biggest audacity is what the hell they did with Deadpool.
Oh, have mercy.
They fucking removed his goddamn mouth and gave him Cyclops eyes. It's like, oh, fuck you. It's like, how dare you?
Things aren't looking so good for Marvel.
Yeah. But then, they finally got the Deadpool movie made, and then look at it now.
Yeah, exactly.
Deadpool and Wolverine, which, have you heard stuff about it lately? That people have, there's like stills where they believe it's Lady Deadpool, and they're trying to figure out who it is. And there's two names that have been thrown out. Blake Lively and Taylor Swift. And I just went, okay, look, just because Blake is married to Ryan does not mean they're going to be in the same movie together. And I swear to God, if it's Taylor Swift, I'm going to fucking boycott the movie. And just go, how dare you?
I would rather much die. This is like the whole Kim Kardashian, because I have a movie that Kim's in this list.
Paw Patrol?
But this is like,
It's nothing. I said Paw Patrol.
Oh God, she's in that?
Yeah, she's in that.
I know she's in American Horror Story, and I heard she did really good in that. But
I have not caught up on American Horror Story, and honestly, that season I was going like, okay, Emma Roberts, you're good, and you've been in this show before, and then Carla, God, I forget her name. She always does just terrible movies, and then Kim Kardashian, like, you can't act for shit. So no, I'm fine. But yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. But yeah, I would agree that X-Men Origins Wolverine is a piece of crap movie, and a movie that was supposed to start off a universe. We were supposed to get a whole spin-off of solo, like, X-Men spin-off movies, and this just killed it. It was very much like what happened with The Mummy. It was like, that was supposed to kickstart one, and then it just killed it. Yeah, it started one and ended one. So, yep. It's like what Chris Rock said: grand opening, grand closing. It's like, yep.
Stop. Okay.
Yeah, I would agree. That's a piece of crap.
All right, you're number 7.
The Happening.
Oh, okay. I have that on here too, but it's not at 7.
You have it higher, huh?
Yeah, I have it higher. I have my reasons why.
Yeah,
but go ahead and ramble.
This is a mess. Okay, this is just an absolute mess. I mean, it is. It's almost like you're so confused at what's going on. Is this supposed to be a drama? Is this a horror film? Is this a thriller? Is this a comedy? And then you find out, like, oh wait, that doesn't matter. Because then you find out the fucking plot twist is, why are all these murders happening? Oh, because the fucking plants are doing it. Great.
Well, it's crazy.
And that's one thing about M. Night Shyamalan that I do not like, is that I like some of his movies, but I hate the twists. Like The Village. I like that movie, I hate the twist. And it's like, dude, Signs. I like that movie, hate the twist. And I'm like, come on, dude. Really? You had something so good. You don't really need a fucking twist every goddamn movie. We don't need that every single time. So it's like, you had something perfectly good going here, and then you just fumbled it up. Just because you did The Sixth Sense and the twist in that was just so unforgettable. It's like, come on, we don't need that every goddamn movie. But The Happening was just jumbled. Like, they didn't even know what they were doing. But honestly, my favorite bits was behind the scenes videos of Mark Wahlberg and M. Night Shyamalan kind of arguing with each other, because Wahlberg was confused. He was going like, so why is this happening? Why is this happening? And then Shyamalan is just going like, just do it. Just do it. Don't ask questions. Just do it.
Just do it.
Yeah. So, yeah. But, yeah, The Happening, that's my number 7. So,
okay.
And we'll get to why, you hate it when we get to it. So, number 6?
Oh, yeah.
Is it number 6?
All right. Yeah, number 6. So I thought you might have not watched this, but it's Son of the Mask.
Oh, I've seen that. Yeah.
And it's such a horrible movie. to just The Mask. You know, the Mask was great. The Mask was amazing. Loved that movie. Jim Carrey did really good. Son of the Mask was so bad. It was so bad.
Well, did you know that the Mask, the comics are actually a lot different?
I did. I heard about it.
They're going to try to do another movie, but actually make it closer to the comics, because it all changed when Jim Carrey got cast, and they're like, okay, let's just let him go because he's great at improvising, and they just let him go. But yeah, Son of the Mask, they were trying to like get lightning in a bottle again with that, and it does not work. Fucking A. Yeah.
So, if I remember correctly, this movie was supposed to try to imitate what Carrey did in the first movie, but the actor that they got for this movie, not to like shit on him or anything, but like it's just he didn't really. I think the dog did better than he did. I'll be honest with you.
And the dog was CGI.
And I don't quite. Yeah, and I don't quite understand the whole jealous dog thing. You know, like, because I think it was like the dog was jealous of the new baby, and then the dog puts on the mask and shit. And then it turns out that the baby has the mask power because the guy put on the mask and screwed his wife, and that's how she got pregnant. So
yeah,
baby's half mask, right?
It's Jamie Kennedy, who I know him from Scream. Yeah,
but it's just, this movie was so bad. I really don't understand. I don't think it needed the sequel. I don't think it was required. I think The Mask by itself was fine, even though obviously it's not canon to the comics. It was
because the comics are a lot more gorier.
Oh, I bet it is. I'm sure the reason. I'm 100% sure The Mask was not intended to be a funny thing.
It has its humor to it, but it's like dark humor, and it's like, oh my god, like that is just gory.
I bet.
Yeah,
but it's just weird. I put it in here because it's just people need to realize that sometimes sequels don't need to be sequels. They don't even have to happen. An idea is fine. Making it into reality maybe was not the best thing for you to do.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Okay.
All right, so here it up. Number 5.
Number 6, actually.
Number 6?
For me.
Or not. Yeah, that's right. 6.
Yeah. Number 6 for me is actually another sequel in a series, but this time it's not the second one. It is, I cannot remember off the top of my head. I think 5. It is Seed of Chucky. Oh my god, this movie's just an abomination. This is the worst one. It's so ridiculous. There were parts in it that I did find funny and did like, but that can't save it. It was, oh my god. I'm not even really a big fan of the Chucky series anyway. I've seen all the movies. I haven't watched the show, but I've heard the show is really good. But I've seen all the movies. This is the bastard child in the series. This is the one where it's like, okay, that one, yeah, that one's gonna need a little bit more help. But, you know, I don't want to sound like an asshole, but that's exactly what this one is. You know, yeah, it's a piece of crap. I do not like that one at all. You know?
I don't. Okay.
Yeah. Well, number 5. We're at the halfway point.
We're almost there.
So number 5.
Getting even more tired talking about all of you.
Oh, whatever.
Okay. My number 5 is gonna be The Hot Chick.
Oh, I thought you were just gonna put any Rob Schneider movie in the 2000s.
Oh, well, I mean, The Hot Chick is a Rob Schneider movie, and it's one of the worst ones.
I forget. Was that the one where he and
he switches places with the girl? Yeah.
Yes, that's the one where it's him and Rachel McAdams.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I saw bits of that, and I was just like, I don't care for Rob Zombie anyway, or not Rob. Rob Zombie I don't care about anyway, but Rob Schneider anyway.
Yeah.
So I was going like, I feel like this is gonna be a piece of crap.
It was. I mean, the only reason I watched it was because on Instagram, there's like clips of movies, and obviously I found one part of the movie really funny. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna watch it. I found it, and then I was like, this is the most disgusting piece of shit of a movie I've ever seen, and it's a depressing waste of time and money. So that's just me.
Yeah. So yeah.
And it's not even, some of these jokes don't even land. It's mainly just dick jokes and homophobic ones. Like, I don't understand.
Jokes. Something I don't like a lot of body swap movies do is it's the same joke. It's like, if it's, in Freaky Friday, it's like, okay, what if the mother was a daughter and the daughter was the mother? It's like, what would happen with there? Oh no. And with this, it's like, what if they swapped sexes? And I'm like, okay, I can already picture what is going to happen. Like, I already know. So it's like, why should I watch this? Well, that's a thing for me with this type of movies. It's like, I can already tell what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So there's really no reason for me to watch them, but like I said, I'm not big into Rob Schneider anyway. But did you actually know that his daughter was Ellie King? You remember the song X's and O's?
Uh-huh.
That's her.
Wow.
That's his daughter. She just didn't want to be called Schneider because she didn't want to basically use that hey, I'm Rob Schneider's daughter. Wanted to do her own way. So didn't want to piggyback off her dad, which is smart. So, same thing with Stephen King's kid.
Yeah.
But we all know it now, so it's like Joe King. Wait, no, that's not right.
Yeah, that's not okay.
Right. Yeah. Well, also, you learned that, Instagram likes to play the best parts of movies, and then when you actually watch them, you're like, oh, shit, that was the only good part.
Yep, and you're just like, what happened?
Yeah.
Why? Just why?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. My number 5 is a remake. It's a horror remake. One Missed Call.
Okay. One Missed Call. Okay.
Okay. This is in the same gate as The Ring, where it is a remake of I believe, Japanese movie. And it's about this supernatural entity calls you, and it's just, you hear screams, but then it's your screams, and you look at the date on the phone, and it's when you will die. So it's like, okay, that's an interesting premise. And I heard the original is actually pretty good, but with this, it's just like, what the fuck is this? Wait, why am I sleeping? Why am I not scared? That's this. So, and it's actually widely regarded as like one of the worst, if not the worst remake.
Wow.
Ever.
That's crazy.
I think on not IMDb, I think on Rotten Tomatoes it has a super low score. It's in the single digits.
Oof.
Yeah, it's oh my God. It's bad. So yeah, don't waste your time.
Gotcha.
Number 4.
Number 4 is the movie you already mentioned, but it is indeed The Happening.
And why do you hate it?
Now let's see. Apart from it's supposed to be a scary movie, first of all, they don't really explain the whole plant thing right away.
Bullshit. So it's supposed to be scary.
It's bullshit. Okay, ecological uneven social collapse. Okay, that's not scary. That's just every other day. Okay, what's scary about this? It's not scary. It's not it's such a weird choice for a scary movie, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, anyways, apart from them casting Mark Wahlberg, which I have my own, you know, ideas about Marky Mark himself, he's fine. He was a fine actor in this movie. The problem was the entire plot of this movie was so horrendous. And his character was very annoying for me for some reason. He kept badgering people about questions.
What?
And,
no.
you know, ongoing crisis. I don't know. I found his character annoying for some reason.
What?
I did. That's just me.
I'm just doing that. By the way, real quick, Rotten Tomatoes gives one missed call 0%.
Wow, 0% is
0.
crazy.
Compared to The Happening, that has 18.
I guess a win is a win.
Well, a win is a win, but this isn't a contest, though.
Yeah, I mean, in this context, it's a loss.
Yeah.
Losers are losers, but, you know, a win is a win.
Yeah, so.
But I think, I don't know, this is happening such a stupid movie. Wahlberg was fine in this role. It's just his character was so fucking annoying. And, you know, the one thing that irked me the most...
He hates the movie.
Yeah. It irked me how much, like, the world was ending around him. And then he gets mad that the world is ending. How are you gonna get mad? Because his plans are ruined. I'm like, okay, what? Okay, that's fine, I guess. Whatever.
Yeah.
Anyways, there you go.
Great.
All right, go ahead, Buster.
This one is, I talked about Doom, and I said there's a movie coming up that is another video game adaptation, Alone in the Dark. Now, this goes into a category of its own because its director, who is Uwe Boll, does the worst video game adaptation movies ever. He adapted House of the Dead. He did one for Postal. He even did Blood Rain. All of his movies are pieces of crap. He puts no effort into it, and he also does not care what anyone thinks. He just decides, I'm going to do whatever I want. I don't care what people say. And just makes a shitty fucking film. And Alone in the Dark is just, what the fuck? So Alone in the Dark, the game it's basically like, you know, investigating a haunted house type movie. That's pretty much what Alone in the Dark, the game is. The movie says, fuck that. We're going to do, there's this guy who's played by Christian Slater. He has supernatural abilities, and we're just going to make this just a complete shoot 'em up movie, put little effort into this, and you know what? Let's fucking just, you know, let's just make this pointless. That is exactly what they did. And I fucking hate it. So, you know, that's why that's there. And now, I'm just gonna say this. My number 3, you may fight me on it. Number 2, you're probably gonna actually no, you are gonna fight me on it. And number 1, I'm not too sure yet. So I'm just throwing that out there.
All right, gotcha. Okay.
So,
okay.
Number 3.
Number 3 is quite literally just called Disaster Movie.
Oh, then never mind. Never mind. I take back what I said earlier. You may. I'm not too sure.
I'm guessing you've heard of the movie. Then.
Oh, just wait.
Oh, brother. So this, I think, has a 1.1 out of 5 rating somewhere.
Somewhere. I think IMDb.
I'm pretty sure. Jason Friedberg made this
and Aaron
disgusting
Seltzer.
movie. Oh, Aaron Seltzer, you're so right. Thank you. I almost forgot.
Both those guys.
Disaster movies. Yeah, that's
1% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Wow. Listen, I know it's supposed to take inspiration from Snakes on a Plane and Cloverfield, and 10,000 BC.
Well,
What the fuck was this movie?
Well,
what the hell was it?
That's, I'll talk about it more, because it may pop up later. But they basically just say, fuck it, let's just do a parody movie and just make all the movies that are popular. And yeah, this one, it was all the most popular movies of 2008.
Yeah.
Like, I think the plot of this one, it was, it was like, it started out being like Cloverfield, where the world is like, and like all these disasters are happening. So the only way to stop it is to return the crystal skull back where it came from. I think that was the plot. And I'm like,
I'm pretty sure that was.
Yeah. What the fuck is that?
It was supposed to be like, I think they were supposed to take the era. I think that's how it was put, like, because that's why Kim Kardashian was in the stupid movie, because she was pretty popular in the 2000s. And, they were supposed to parody a lot of, like, the most relevant things from 2008. And what they did was absolutely not that.
Yeah, no.
Absolutely not that. It's really bad. It's a PG-13 movie. I think it should just not be. It should just be not rated, in my opinion.
Oh, I think it needs to be obliterated.
I think it needs to be erased. Is what it needs to be. The fact that it actually is over an hour is crazy to me. I think this should have been a 30-second flop and let it go.
This should have been an SNL skit, not a movie.
Oh my God, you're so right.
Yeah.
Horrendous movie, horrendous filmography. The filmography in this movie is actually one of the most painful ones I've seen. It is so bad. It's so bad. I don't even want to keep talking about it. You'd have to watch it yourself to understand the pain of this movie.
Don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that.
You might actually be dead.
The minute you
yeah.
turn it on. Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right. My number 3. You're probably going to fight me on this one.
What is it, Jack and Joe?
No, that was 2011.
Oh, that's 2010. Okay, yeah. Cool.
Number 3 for me, Twilight.
Oh, I'm not going to fight you on that.
Okay.
I will.
Okay. I thought you were.
No.
I don't mind, the movies when it's like, hey, let's, make a romantic version of like vampires or werewolves. I don't care about that. What I do and do not like, shitty acting, shitty dialogue, characters that just make absolutely no sense. So you start falling in love with a vampire. Why? Because he's mysterious and he glitters in the sun instead of fucking evaporating. And it's like, why? And then the more the series goes on, you find out, like, wait, their relationship is very toxic. But, that's me. I will say this, I prefer this over 50 Shades of Grey, but that's not really setting the bar super high. I never liked the Twilight series. I understand where people do, but I just don't understand it. Because it's like they seem to get worse with every movie and remove less of the plot. I mean, hell, the fourth one was Breaking Dawn Part 1, right?
Yeah.
That one was literally like, okay, this is the plot of the movie. I'm pretty sure this is what they were saying. Okay, so look, Edward and Bella, they get married, but they have a baby. But the problem is she's giving birth to a vampire baby. So it's pretty much going to explode out of her if they don't do something about it. And then when the baby's born, Jacob is in love with the baby. Man, that's going to be like a Cronenberg movie. How do they make that the most...
on my daughter?
How do they make that shit the most boring crap ever?
Oh my God.
I mean, I'm over exaggerating, but that's pretty much where they're going with it. But the issue is that they do like an hour of everybody staring at each other, not saying a word, almost like music videos type stuff, and they get directors that have done good movies to make shitty films. Like hell, the director of the second one did American Pie.
Wow.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, that was a good movie. But and then the director of Breaking Down Part 1, I forget, but they did another good movie, and I'm like, the hell are you doing? It's just I don't understand the series, so I don't get it. But to me, there are two movies that I've seen that are worse, and two of them we may have already talked about. So get to that when we get to that. Mm-hmm. So. That's my number 3, so I'm going to move on. So, yay. Because I'm pretty sure there's a 13-year-old girl out there that wants to kick my ass or something.
I'm sure there is plenty of girls out there that are like, how dare you insult Twilight like that? I'm like, because it's actually...
Team Edward!
Team Edward!
Yeah, whatever.
Whatever.
Okay.
Whatever.
What is your number 2?
Okay. As much as, like, I didn't want to put this on here, but I thought it was such a stupid movie. Mm-hmm. It's the B Movie.
You know what? I would agree. I find that movie annoying.
It's so bad.
I mean,
the only reason it's a meme is because of the script.
Well, the only thing that was actually, there was only one character in that movie that I actually liked, and that was the boyfriend.
Oh my god!
Because he was the most reasonable person in the fucking movie. I'm like, yeah, what the hell is going on here?
I mean, wouldn't you also go crazy if your girlfriend left you for a fucking bee?
That's why I love the meme of so what are you helping him out with? I'm gonna help him take humanity to court, and then it's just his face. Like he's like, what?
Huh?
Like that, and then it also helps that it's Patrick Warburton. That's just another layer that I love. But other than that, every time he was not on screen, I was pissed off. I was like, shut the hell up with these bee puns. Like, just shut up. But it also doesn't really help that I don't care for Jerry Seinfeld. It's like, okay, but and also, he has an ego nowadays. Like he's super like, oh well, I had a hit show, that should get me anything. It's like, no, it doesn't. So okay, so you made one hit show, and so like that should have people at your feet, giving you money for shit. No. So,
yeah, well, there's nothing more I can say other than it's a nonsensical film. It doesn't make any sense, and we can burn it to the ground.
Well,
that's it.
Well, we can burn it because, he loves the smell of flowers, but not the smell of flames. See, I told you.
So much. I hate you so much.
Well,
all right.
Hey, don't blame me. Blame the movie.
Fair enough. Okay. Go ahead. What's yours?
All right. So number 2. Oh my god. Okay, so I'm just looking shit up. But apparently somebody created the boy... Oh, Ken. That was his name. They created him in Fallout 4. And oh my god. It's just... Wow. Okay, I may try that. But anyway, my number 2 is a movie that was actually in your best of. You want to take a guess on what that was?
I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it right. Nope.
Norbit.
Ah!
And yes, I'll tell you why.
Oh, God.
One, that movie, to me, is offensive. It's offensive to fat people. It's offensive to Asians, especially since, you know who was under that Asian makeup?
Mr. Eddie Murphy himself.
Yep. So it's like, whoa. Like, okay. And again, it goes back to what I was talking about, like with Mean Girls. It's like, if your main characters are just shallow as fuck and don't appear to change, then I'm gonna write your movie off. And this movie does that. And yeah, I mean, I hated this movie. I was like physically like nauseous after watching it, because I was like, what the hell did I just watch? Oh, and I actually thought of another one that I feel like I would have put in my top 10, but just thought of it. Damn, how can I forget it? Bedtime Stories with Mr. Adam Sandler.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that movie pissed me off.
Well, fair enough.
But, you know, I completely forgot about that one. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Why, how can I forget that one? But anyway, Norbit, I despise. So, you know, and you know what sucked too is that when that movie came out, Eddie Murphy almost got an Oscar.
Wow, for that?
No,
I didn't know that.
Oh hell no!
I was gonna say, I was like, for that?
Have you seen Dreamgirls?
Yeah.
Yeah, he almost got an Oscar for that. But then Norbit came out right before the Oscars, and they went, nope. And yeah, so Eddie Murphy almost had an Oscar.
Dang.
But because of this movie, nope. Whatever. But yeah, so I know you like it, but I hate it. But so we'll move on from that. Okay, number 1. We're at the finish line.
Number 1. We're at the finish line, and you know, I'd hate to do this to this movie, but I also do not like the movie. I'm putting Catwoman at number 1.
Why would you hate putting that movie? That movie's garbage.
Because I liked Halle Berry in the movie.
And?
That's it. The only saving grace was Halle Berry. But other than that, this movie has to be one of the worst movies.
Yeah, because I was actually going to say something earlier about Catwoman when you mentioned Elektra. And I was like, really? You put Elektra on here over Catwoman? But then I shut up. Because I'm like, you know, we still have a long way to go.
We do have a long way to go, and yeah, this was the ending of that.
I would agree. The only thing that I love about that is, so Halle Berry, she got an Oscar right before. To then she won a Razzie for this one. Have you seen the footage of her at the Razzies accepting it, and she has her Oscar on stage with her?
Oh my God.
Have you seen the footage of that?
I have not seen the footage of that.
It is awesome. Like, yeah, she goes up and accepts it, but she brought her Oscar with her. So yeah, she's up on stage. She's like, I want to thank Warner Brothers for putting me in a crappy movie.
I mean, she won an award from it, no?
Yeah, she won a Razzie for it.
She won?
Yeah, she won. So she accepted it. She was actually there. So she accepted it, and she had her Oscar with her. And it's awesome. So, yeah. So, yeah. I'll try to find that video and share it with you, because it's amazing.
Right. But I mean, I know there are plenty of other movies that could have gotten number 1, but I feel like out of the majority of these movies, Catwoman had to be just the worst superhero film.
Well, and also it had all the resources to not do what they did.
Yeah, and you know, it was very surprising, because I feel like Catwoman should have been the least movie to be screwed up the way that it did. So I have no idea what happened. you know? So, yeah. Anyways.
But my number one is a movie you already have. Disaster movie.
Oh. Disaster. You put it at what?
Because, which is why I said, okay, I'll get to what I think about it. This actually goes in a category. Any movie in the 2000s that is done by Jason Freeberg and Aaron Seltzer, so date movie, epic movie, Meet the Spartans, this movie. These movies have shelf lives, and I would even go beyond the 2000s. Vampires Suck, The Starving Games, Super Fast. They all put in the category of movies that have shelf lives of 6 months. Because they do shit that is just popular at the time, and then once the popularity goes down, it's like, oh, that's right, that movie exists. So I hate all their movies, but disaster, like date movie, it was all like the date movies of like the 2000s. Epic movie, it was all like the superhero movies that were coming out. Meet the Spartans, that was totally a ripoff of 300, and then this is all the disaster movies. So like Cloverfield, I think Day the Earth Stood Still, all those movies, like the 2008 movies. Like when you have a fucking scene of what was it? Enchanted. I forget what the princess name was. She comes out of the fucking sewer and then immediately gets run over by a car. It's like what the fuck was that? Like who was asking for that? No one.
No one was asking for anything.
And then it's like they said, you know what, fuck it. We're just gonna dress up like characters and just do something funny with it. And it's like, yeah, that's what SNL's for, guys. You don't have to do that for an hour and a half. So I despise those movies. Like all the movies they've done, I think are absolute pieces of crap. They just should be just obliterated from existence. And I think disaster movie is hands down to me my number one worst movie of the decade.
I agree because there are plenty of other movies like like you said, Meet the Spartans or epic movie. What else?
Have you seen Starving Games?
I've seen Starving Games. It's actually free on YouTube. Is how I came across it.
Seriously, the scene where they were calling out all their names and it was the Bart Simpson crap, like the Hugh Janus, Phil My Hooters. It's like, come on, we outgrew that. It's like, really, you're childish right now.
So bad. I don't even understand half of it. Like,
the Super Fast one, that is actually I think that was the last one they did, because that one's a I guess parody of the Fast and Furious movies. And that's when people just said, no, we're done. Like, no more. So they stopped funding them. Which, good.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I haven't seen Super Fast yet, but I don't want to.
Abysmal.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's like if one more movie was financed, I think I would have to actually bleach my eyes.
Bleach my eyes. Great.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah. Piece of crap.
Piece of crap.
Yeah.
Great.
I'm glad we were able to find good common ground in a lot of these. It was just Norman that decided to go off path. But we all like and dislike different things. So, and a movie that we'll quickly talk about is that was not in the 2000s, but instead the 2010s, Quiet Place, because the prequel is coming out as of this in 2 weeks, I think, 2-3 weeks.
Okay.
And I was brought to this late. I didn't see it when it came out. I was actually recommended this movie, and I was like, okay. And then it was, I watched it with headphones the first time, and I thought something was wrong with the audio. Because I'm like, why is it all silent? I'm like, what's going on? Like, is there something wrong with my headphones? And I was like, oh, no, wait, it's the actual sound mix of the movie. It's supposed to be quiet. It's in the fucking title, dipshit. But this was the movie that showed me that John Krasinski, one, is a pretty good director, but also, can be outside of the comedy range. Because I'd only known him for The Office, and I never really watched that show. I knew Emily Blunt from other stuff, and for those who don't know, they're actually married in real life. But the first 5 minutes of this movie had me, where it was like, oh crap, well, this is how it's starting off. Like, damn, okay. To me, this is a smart movie, where it's like, let's cut off, it almost reminded me of like Don't Breathe, where that one, it was these people that trapped in the house with this blind guy, but he knows his territory super well. They have to be quiet. But to me, this one, it was like, okay, but what if that man's house was actually the entire world, and we all had to be quiet? Mm-hmm. So it was like, oh damn, yeah, I'm not surviving that.
No, I don't think I was.
I can't keep quiet for a minute. So, let alone for like years. So, nope.
Which I'm quite excited to see this, the new movie that's going to come out, because it's supposed to be the prelude to this one, right?
It's prequel.
Right? Prequel. Why did I say prelude? Oh, that's completely different. That's not even...
I actually want to figure out if that's a word.
I'm pretty sure it is.
Prelude. Yeah. An action or event serving as an introduction to something more important. Damn. Actually, you're actually pretty on point. I'm just the idiot in this, as usual.
English. I English very well sometimes.
Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, the new one's coming out is a prequel and prelude to what will eventually happen in part 1 and 2.
Part 1 and 2, which is nice. I quite like when they do that. Mm-hmm. And so that they create their own little universe, and you know where to start from, kind of like what they did with Fast and Furious. Mm-hmm. Although Tokyo Drift is technically supposed to be the movie that comes after 5. Yes, after 6.
I don't know. That's a series I have absolutely no idea.
So. Yeah, it's a little weird. Tokyo Drift is supposed to be the 4th movie, on the way that they pump them out, but canonically it's supposed to be watched later in the series. So, yeah, which is great. I like it when they do that, because then when you rewatch stuff, you do it in order. It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and then I like the cast they have in the new one. Like, it's Lupita Nyong'o and Joseph Quinn, who was getting a lot of press lately.
Yes, so, very true.
So, yeah, but I really liked the first one. I went into it like completely blind. I wasn't expecting, what happened to happen. So yeah, it was quite good.
It was quite good. I don't think I'd put it at You Are God. I think I'd still give it a respect.
Oh yeah, it's a respect.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and
yeah,
it's definitely not a You Are God to me, but I would give it in respect.
It is a very good movie though. Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. But so yeah, really good movie, and even part 2 was pretty good, and I was kind of not dreading part 2. I was more going like, I don't know if this is gonna work, but man, I was proven wrong. So yay. So yay. So we'll see what they do with I think it's day 1. So
with day 1,
hopefully it's good. It looks good. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'm excited.